Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Look Saigon podcast. I'm joined again by Vito Costa, my childhood friend. He's here for the third time. Yeah, the way I'm deciding how to choose my next guest is basically I just ask the podcast, "Hey, dude, who do you want to talk to now?" I want to talk to Vito. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Vito, let's go, bro. What's up, dude? Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Look Saigon. I'm here with Vito. What's up, Vito? This is round 3 for you, bro.
Round three, man. Yeah. Hopefully not the last either.
For sure. Hey, what vape is that?
This is I actually just switched over to this brand. Well, I'm trying to make this my last vape actually, but this is Vozol.
Like your last vape ever?
No, I mean not ever, but no, I'm just straight up like just taking a break from just weed and nicotine just for well, I mean really just for financial reasons. Like
True,
this
true.
it's an expensive fucking habit.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you ever do like a hookah? Or like how they call it here, shisha?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like the hookah is the device, and the shisha, I guess, the
Oh, for
shisha is
real.
like what you actually smoke, right? Yeah.
Ah, okay, true.
But yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I fucking loved hookah. Yeah, I remember we went a few times like back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, no. Last time I went, I think it was with my brother. I think a few years back, maybe. Um, yeah, or yeah, a few years back, I think. Um, but yeah, actually here in Italy, I haven't. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, they definitely would love to look one up, bro.
Dude, over here we do have hookahs and stuff. We also have laughing gas balloons. And they're like, dude, they're like this big, like for real. And
Yeah, but that shit's not like well that's more on the unsafer like side of the
that's
drug
true.
spectrum.
That is true. That
Yeah,
is true. Because you couldn't even mix
that's
the
like whippets,
balloon
bro.
and exactly. Like you couldn't
It's
mix
whippets.
it is whippets, yeah. You
No,
couldn't
no,
mix
I
that
I
with
actually
shisha.
no, I do know what you're talking about though, because I remember a while back, like I would see on social media, like they would literally like sell like little mini tanks of nitrous, like whippet tanks. That's insane, bro. Like it's so unsafe.
True, man, true. Yeah, here for like about like $3, you'll get a balloon like this big of nitrous oxide.
With a little metal cap on it, right?
No, it's literally inside a balloon, like a birthday balloon.
Yeah, yeah, and there's like a little metal cap that you twist to like suck it out, right? Yeah,
I mean,
I
here
think
here
I think I've
in
seen those before.
here in Vietnam, it's literally just a balloon that you hold with your fingers.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, like they sell it to you on the street like that, like
No,
or
like in
what,
in
or
like
like in the
in
store,
specific
like
like in specific like
oh,
low.
so they like fill a balloon and they
Yeah.
give it to you.
Yeah, they have the
Okay,
tank.
all right.
They have the whole tank and then they fill a balloon with that laughing gas and then just hand it to you.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's
yo.
like in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you saying, bro?
No, tell me about Jamaica.
Oh no, like my brother like he got to go to Jamaica with like well friends and like friends' parents like for his graduation gift
Mm-mm.
and yeah, he just told me like there were yeah, it's like same thing, you could literally just like I mean, yeah, just whether on the streets and in stores, just like the little just like sell you joints and like all you like no carding or anything.
That's
Like they
awesome,
would
bro.
just like yeah.
That's so chill. Yo, so there's something on your mind tonight about something about other generations, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah, I mean it was definitely one of the two topics that have been in my head that I shot at you. Like I was just thinking, like, well, I mean, I think my initial thought was, yeah, I mean, the way like like I mean just in general, the way generations like have like affected society and like have like
Mm,
evolved like society like well yeah between generations
yeah,
and yeah, I mean between like I guess like the most interesting one like thought I was the most recent. I'm trying to remember what it was in my state of mind right now.
was it something
Uh
about how different generations judge like the next generation?
yeah, yeah, bro. Well, yeah, that was definitely one of them that seemed interesting to me. But oh yeah, and also just the way it's affected society and like in um in the way like well yeah like I was mentioning well yeah like taking like the pros and cons like that like previous society you got like the pro where it's almost like like I think a lot of people would agree that life was simpler back then like for previous generations, and I think a reason for
Mm,
that is because um like things were just more like sorry no, things were just a lot more like set. You had like the the just the gender roles that people accepted,
right.
the religion. I think a big thing. Well, yeah, like I think I mentioned to you, it was it's just like this set like the whole the growing up, getting married, having like a family, like owning a house, going to church on Sundays, like for at least for the well for the religious people, and which was a lot of people, and I think yeah, so that leads to like a con that which is that I guess that I guess for when you think about it for clear reasons it led to a lot of that closed-mindedness that
Mm,
the older generations have, and then like when you into like today's generation that obviously pro is that we're a lot more accepting. Sometimes I think like a little too much. Like I if it, that were like possible. But no, but I mean like we are a lot more accepting and tolerant now, which is great.
mm,
But yeah, yeah. So when I say like too much, I think with just like I think just due to different reasons, maybe like people just get a little too emotional and like not really using rationale that much. And that's just led to like obviously a lot of fighting that we've seen between like both extremes, and that's obviously like a just a con right there, but I think it just complicates a lot of things for society, and yeah, that's why we're bickering a lot more, like that's why we're just disagreeing a lot more. Well, yeah, I mean, like there's always been like agreements and disagreements, but yeah, just things just seem a lot more complicated now. Like it was like people aren't like just a lot less people are content, or a lot more people are like just a lot less content with their lives, and
mm.
yeah. So, well, yeah, I just went on for like for a while, but yeah, bro, that's it. That's I mean that's a sense that's the general idea, man. I mean, like I don't know what your thoughts now are on like between like our general our like generational like gaps and the way we've evolved and
Mm.
yeah, like I would love to hear your thoughts, bro.
Like it seems like in the past, like things were already set up for us. Like, right, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. Like, this is what you do now, and then you die or whatever. But like today, it's like, uh, I guess we have more freedom of choice, but there's so many choices that now it's like paradox of choice, and like it's like there's so many choices. Like, okay, what the hell do I do? What do I do now? Which one is the right one?
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Yeah, like yeah, and that's I guess
Dude,
yeah, that's kind of like the ideal. Yeah,
this this is
what were
actually
you
a
gonna say?
this is actually a deep topic because like in the past they would say this is how you become happy, right? Where now today it's like, whoa, there's so many options. I'm gonna go find out
Yes,
how
bro.
to be happy, but what if
Yes.
what if both of them were wrong? Because what if happiness is not something you go and find?
It's inside you, bro. I feel like cuz you know, I'm really the only social media I'm on in face I'm on is on Facebook and it's 90% for memes, but yeah, I feel like it's like well, I know like Facebook is stalking me like it's stalking everyone,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, like straight up now that I'm just in this more like, you know, like just evolved just state of consciousness and happiness it I like I just saw this meme the other day where it was so simple but it's like what like what is that it looks so shiny. I want some of it and it was a little like happiness inside a stick figure and he said, oh, I just created it myself. Like it's just so simple but
Yo,
it's right there like that's the answer.
bro. There you go. Yeah, this reminds me like I feel like yesterday, like for me right now it's Sunday morning, but yesterday, Saturday in my time, it felt like I had like my dream day. Like it was exactly what I wanted. Like
Really.
just wake up in the morning, do some life coaching for a friend, and then just chill, listen to music, watch a documentary, eat some edibles, like call some friends and just relax and just recharge myself the whole day. It felt so good, dude.
That's awesome, man. That's
Like
awesome to have a day like that.
maybe happiness is just something that simple. Like it was just that. And like, but also like having the freedom of time to be able to choose your schedule and do that stuff. Because now tomorrow I go back to my 9 to 5 and I basically lose half of my day.
So yeah, but so dude, I want to ask you this question because like it is like in relation to this topic. Like when exactly and like how did you just decide that life coaching that this was, you know, a very like potential career path you wanted to take?
Well, like
And like how did it affect you and like I mean no like exactly how did you decide that you know like this was you know the career that would the career choice that you know would bring you that acceptance and that happiness for yourself?
that's a good question. And actually you're the first person to ask me that. So thanks.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
The very first time I ever thought about it was during the COVID lockdown in Vietnam. And that was about like what August of I think it was 2021, I think, because Vietnam's lockdowns were like kind of delayed compared to the rest of the world. But anyways, like I was like locked in my apartment for a few months, like just talking to myself sometimes. And eventually like yeah, like how do you explain this? Like this has to do with intuition too. Like
Of course.
there's something about intuition.
Well, intuition. Yeah, how so?
Like I feel like intuition has a specific pattern that is once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. No, I do get what you're saying. And actually, so my yeah, I just want to interject real quickly because it's interesting. my old boss in my previous job, so just amazing dude, like just yeah, our age. And he was just like very just super into like Zen, like chakras, and just
Mm-hmm.
essentially was just like he's essentially a guru, like
Nice, nice.
not really for that like corporate world. Like he was trying to create his own thing, which I really respected because he was essentially into that. But yeah, he had this he had this saying that well, I mean, it's just, not just his philosophy, but um that um so really about intuition, essentially, that really, like, when you really essentially, it's just you have to like listen to your gut. If your gut is telling you to do something, which actually my dad has like, and I've heard a lot of people actually talk about like the gut, actually, like how important it is, like in relation to intuition, I guess. So
Right.
like really, like when your gut's telling you to do something, it more than likely it's the right thing to do. Like, and
Yeah.
now I'm thinking about, like, before when you were talking about like all these choices that people have,
Mm,
maybe that's just it. You just gotta
exactly.
lean to that. Like, not otherwise you're overthinking, and yeah, like you're never gonna, like, again, happiness comes from you, so why
Yeah.
wouldn't, like, you just feel it?
Right. So for a few years, the way I've lived my life is just based off of my gut feeling only. And I do my best to not let my mind decide what I should do. I try my best. Like there's times when I fail, definitely. Like there's times when like my action or my decision like comes from like a trigger so deep inside of me that I wasn't aware that it was like my nervous system being triggered and then deciding to do something. And I thought that was my intuition, but it wasn't, right? I've done that before.
That
Um,
is just an amazingly deep state of awareness, bro. Good for you. Like,
like it's kind of scary because like sometimes when like your triggers
I
ask
mhm,
for something and then you're like that's my intuition, right? So I'll just go do that and then you do that
I get that.
and then later you realize, oh damn, dude, that came from my trigger. But after that happens, your awareness keeps increasing and increasing, and I don't know if there's a limit or not. It just keeps increasing.
I get that, bro. Like right now, I feel so, yeah. Now, especially now that you mentioned that, I feel like right now I'm maybe at least at my, if not almost like at my like optimal state of like self-awareness where I want to be.
Nice.
Honestly, like right now. But yeah, but like I now I do want to ask you that, like how how have you been able to like really like train your mind to well, I guess, no, like train your gut, I guess, or train your mind to like really just listen to your gut, like I mean, as you know, I guess as instinctively as, like, you've been able to.
The thing is, usually the gut feeling will suggest you to do something that your mind doesn't want to do. It's like like it's like, oh, I know I should do that thing, but I really don't want to. Like that's usually the gut feeling. Like, and also
So yeah,
like the gut
I get
feeling,
that.
like like you can't produce the gut feeling. Like it's just like it's like your own internal like chat GPT just functioning. Like you can't turn it on or off. You can just like
Bro,
quiet your mind to be able to hear it.
like, I think it's crazy. Like, I just thought, like, what if, like, like, I think I feel like our gut, like feel I want to say this right, bro. Like um like our I don't, well, essentially, so I feel like our gut, like, and like our feelings of like general anxiety, like are
Mm.
interconnected, honestly. Like, because I feel like with that, like you just said, it's like you don't know like whether it's the right decision or not, like
Mm-hmm.
ultimately in the moment. I'm pretty sure that's what you said. And yeah, like it's just, that produces general anxiety, and like that in just in a lot of people, when you have it chronically, like obviously it's a lot worse. But like, yeah, I think it's really just healthy just to learn to just go with it. Just
Mm,
listen to your fucking gut. Like that
mm,
first like fucking thought. Don't second guess. Like I think
mm.
second guessing is because essentially, like, if you know right from wrong, you know right from wrong, bro. Like, so if if something is wrong, like for you, like you're not gonna want to and if you're not a fucking psychopath, like you're gonna know
Right.
like but not like you should do it. So just if you're a good person, just listen to your gut.
Mm. I think maybe
But yeah,
psychopaths, like I have a feeling that
yeah.
psychopaths aren't able to hear their gut. I think it's just completely their nervous system just asking for its desires to be fulfilled.
No, bro, like there's exactly, bro. Like there's a reason, like so like I would say at least 50% of like the 50 to 60% of like the most powerful CEOs and businessmen of the world are fucking
Mm.
psychopaths. It's because
It makes sense.
you know, and they are, like whether that, they no, like regardless of like positive or negative connotations, like we have to call it what it is. They are the alpha wolves of society. Well, like because they don't give a fuck. Like
It
they'll stomp on like whoever they need to just to get ahead.
it's like
And yeah,
it's like
and we have the
imagine,
empathy that they don't.
right. There's like several examples of that. Like, for example, like imagine that you create a new pharmaceutical drug that you know is gonna hurt people, and you still encourage people to sell it. Like for you and me, that would feel weird. Like I feel like a stomach ache just thinking about doing that because I know that my action would hurt people, and I know that's gonna happen. But now imagine that you're somebody that doesn't have the capability to even feel that kind of guilt. So like that makes me
Yeah.
happy. That makes me glad that I can feel guilt. Like I've learned that this year. Like I'm thankful that I have the ability to feel guilt.
Yeah, no, guilt is guilt, remorse, and ultimately guilt, remorse, like uh sympathy, it's all empathy. It all
Mm,
comes from empathy, and literally like that's, well, I mean, I was super, like I used to be, and I still am, like super interested in just just that particular like area of psychology, just like psychopaths, literally what it is, it's like a complete lack of empathy. Their
right,
brain does not produce empathy.
right. Yeah, yeah. It can't like I guess what they can't even imagine how
What
the other person feels. And also they don't even care, maybe.
both, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now psychopaths do have children, and they do love in particular their type of love, which is essentially you're an extension of me, and like
Right,
I have to protect you at all costs. You're an investment. Like I want you to be great and and because you're basically like my shadow. So
right.
and my successor, pretty much. Yeah.
I've learned, wow, like this year for me has gone by so slow because of certain events in my life. Like it feels like this one year, which is not even finished. It's still November, but for me it feels like it's been 5 years. And in this year, I've learned how to deal with guilt. I've learned the short-term guilt has a purpose. It's trying to tell you, hey, you shouldn't do that. Like, okay, but like what happened to me was my short-term guilt became chronic. It became long-term guilt, and I didn't know how to handle that for a few months.
Really?
And it was enough to like cause me like a mental breakdown back in like March.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned that to me earlier. Yeah, that's Yeah, that's wild. Like, but like, would you say like you've been able to cope with that like better like recently? Because
Uh,
you seem like you're in a better like you seem like
yeah,
you're in a good mental state now.
I think it was around like maybe April or May. I came across this book called Radical Self-Forgiveness.
Mm,
And that book is basically what got me out of it. And now I see like the purpose, like okay, long-term guilt has a purpose, and the only purpose I can find for long-term guilt is to learn the skill of self-forgiveness
of course, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's
because it's a
yeah,
skill.
definitely. Let's let's delve into this for whatever time remaining, because no, it's definitely something I've thought about. With recent changes in my life. And yeah, I mean, right now it feels like, the what I particularly want to forgive myself like for, and I know I have to forgive myself for, like it's not weighing on me that much, but it is there. I know it
Mm,
is there, and I'm just like wondering because that really is like one thing. Where does that come from? Because
mm,
where does true like self-forgiveness like come from? Just like especially because first of all, I think to like forgive, you have to
mm.
reach that state of awareness, obviously, that
Okay.
state of self-awareness. But like once you've reached that,
Mm,
like
mm,
I feel like I'm at least like stuck there mentally, like because it's like how do you take that next step? How do you say like when you have this long-term guilt, like you said,
mm,
like
mm.
how how like I mean I know a lot of people would say it's just time, but like time and what else?
Right. Something is missing.
Because how do I truly accept and say like I did this, like I hurt this person,
Uh-huh.
um and, but how do I just really accept like that forgiveness and like
Yeah.
say I'm sorry like to myself.
Right. I think like what what most people will say like on to begin this healing process would be like of course now like now we're getting to the cliches, right? It's like
Yeah.
well, you did the best that you could at that moment with your level of awareness in that moment, so you couldn't have done it any differently. That's what was gonna happen. That's number one, right? Okay, so number two is
Wait,
this.
say that one more time.
Yeah, yeah.
Say that one more time.
It's like whatever you did that is producing that guilty feeling now when you look back, like whatever happened in that moment that you did,
Hmm.
that was the best that you could have done in that moment with your level of awareness in that moment. So
Yeah.
it would be unfair to ask you to do an action that would come from a higher awareness because you didn't have that in that moment. You were functioning off of whatever level of awareness you had in that moment. So that was the best you could have actually done.
It's funny that I'm thinking it kind of comes full circle because as you it's kind of like a cycle because so one thing that's so crucial I think for self-forgiveness is learning from your mistakes.
Of course.
And
Sure.
like as you reach a more heightened state of awareness, you that becomes easier to just to learn from those mistakes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And and now I kind of lost my train of thought a
That's
little
okay.
bit. But yeah, like what was the first thing we like you were talking about like before I started
Right.
interjecting?
There's a second part because like the first part that we just said was just like, okay, I'm aware that I did my best and whatever that happened. Okay, but I still feel guilty about it, right? Like, okay, I did my best, but I still feel guilty about it. Okay, okay. So then
Yeah, because
part
you have
two,
empathy, you have that empathy,
right,
so like you have
right,
that, you feel that guilt because
right.
yeah, you did this thing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I tried my best, but I fucked up. I still feel guilty about it. Like, okay, so this is part two now. Imagine you have a kid, and when your kid grows up, he commits the same mistake that you feel guilty about, how long would it take you to forgive your kid? Or would you judge your kid for years?
Yeah, I've um I've definitely played that scenario in my head multiple times, bro. Um, at the end of the day, well, like I mentioned before, like when we're talking about like psychopaths, like essentially, well, a truth is that the truth is that your child is an extension of you, and like so your guilt, like it's very well, one thing that's very important is not to project your own guilt on your child.
Yeah,
But when your child does something, as you mentioned, like it's no matter what, there's always going to be that part of you. Like, if obviously, if you love your child, if you're a good parent, you love your child as you should. There's always going to be that part of you that's gonna forgive him and want to understand why he
right.
did it, so you can forgive him or her. Uh, and uh, but yeah, like it also depends on the, yeah, like what if your child not to be a fucking serial murderer? Like would you be able to
Sure.
forgive your child for murdering innocent people? Um
Right.
um
But
so that's a tricky situation because it's your child, but at the same time, like I would feel like if you're just a heartless killer, like you're I would be I think any, like, human with empathy would be ashamed of that. So that's that, but that's an extreme. That's a very,
that's an
like,
extreme.
that's
And
an
and and
extreme.
even in that extreme, let's say if your kid is a serial killer, it's because his brain is like broken in some place. So like
Exactly.
he couldn't even control it then. So how is it fair to be
Exactly.
angry with him?
Yeah, exactly. um Why? I think a topic we need to delve into is like catching psychopathy early in children, just for this reason, bro. Like,
Yeah. But so
because
like
because a children's mind is still a
yeah.
sponge, bro. Like, so
So like
you
so
can
like,
do what you can.
so like back to scenario number two, like let's say your kid does a mistake and your kid feels ashamed. Like then would you tell your kid like, yeah, you should feel ashamed of yourself, or would you tell your kid like, yo, you fucked up, but it's cool. Like it's okay.
It
Now you know
it
better.
depends. It depends on the thing because, yeah, like on it's a spectrum. So yeah, generally, if we're not leaning towards extremes, I think the answer would, for the most part, be like, be yeah, don't tell them they should be feel ashamed of themselves, like,
Uh-huh.
at all.
Uh-huh.
If it's a mistake that,
Right.
so ask yourself, if it's a mistake that you would have made at that age, if it's a mistake that you would have made at that age just for being like dumb, a dumb teenager, like dumb and young,
Or even dumb and
and
adult.
human, and
Yeah.
even dumb and adult. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like just human, fucking
Yeah.
human.
Exactly.
Um, because we are human and we make mistakes and we have to forgive ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it just comes full circle, man. But yeah, like
We just said like if it's not an extreme case, it would be easy to forgive our kids. Like so okay, so then my question is why are we so hard on ourselves when we haven't done any of the extreme things? We haven't gone on any serial killing sprees. Like we've just made mistakes like any other human does.
because we're humans and do one thing that another thing, just calling it like it is, we
Mm,
as humans are selfish creatures, like, by nature. Like we would just like, like, thinking about, like, just we evolved, like, from, like, Neanderthals, like, obviously, like, didn't have the mental capability for, well, I mean, I don't know, like, honestly, I'm not I'm not an I'm not an expert on the subject, but yeah, I think eventually we should, and selflessness is something we learn, and it's something great that
mm,
humanity needs to evolve also. but it's something learned. I believe that empathy. But like essentially, like we do have this selfishness to live for ourselves, and to a degree, we also need that because you have to like love yourself and do what's right
For
for
sure.
yourself. Um, but yeah, so really at the end of the day, um, yeah, so what was part two or part three that you mentioned that you just mentioned now? So we can tie that in.
Mm.
So I can tie that in.
I think it was kind of just like if we haven't committed any of these extremely terrible things, why is it so challenging to forgive ourselves sometimes?
Um, because
Like, why are we so hard on
because
ourselves?
because we learned that empathy and like we whether we had that empathy all along, like we developed it in our brain, like we had that capability for the to develop that. And so it's really nature and nurture, like both of them combined. But yeah, we learned that. So because of that, I think that produces the, our emotion, that emotion of guilt, that feeling of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's going to be inevitable. If you are a good human being and you feel that
Mm.
empathy, you are going to feel a certain degree of guilt. But the thing is, so yeah, actually, the only people that would feel no guilt at all are those that extreme, those the sociopaths, the
Mm-hmm.
psychopaths. um so because we just really have to learn to manage that level, and just feel an appropriate amount of guilt for ourselves, just so we don't get to that level of just
Right.
like uh just not giving a fuck about people's emotions.
Right. Yeah, like having guilt
But so
seems to be like a healthy thing. Like when if it's like
yeah,
like a short-term guilt, just like that lingering
it is healthy.
long-term
Yeah.
guilt, then that one might get in the way of your daily life.
You know what? And bro, it's crazy that you mentioned that like short term, because I think it's just straight up like short term. And but I think a big problem with people right now is a reason for a lot of the unhappiness in among people, among society, is that we allow our emotions to be long term
Right.
when we need to take them as they come. We're humans, we feel
Right.
emotions, we feel angry, we feel sad when something like bad happens,
Yeah.
or some happy when something good happens. We can't expect those emotions to last forever. We got to
R-
take them as they come. They're going to go
Right.
away. Like, so
Maybe it's like a natural reaction we have that we don't want to experience uncomfortable emotions long term, and instead we want the pleasurable emotions long term. But
yeah, I think
maybe just all emotions in general are short term.
it's something that's been created by just conditioning, I think, through society
Mm,
for sure. But yeah, that's the way it should be. Like we should be human, like we're human, and we should just feel the emotions as they come and
yeah.
know they're not gonna last forever, and they shouldn't last forever. Happiness shouldn't last forever, sadness shouldn't last
Right.
forever. Like it's all gonna come. And
Yo,
we yeah.
but imagine if the whole world suddenly got like a super like mentally healthy. They learn to be present, to enjoy the moment. Companies wouldn't sell that many products anymore because they would lose their market.
Exactly, and that's greediness in a lot of humans, and just the corporations like pushing like ways to restrict our free thought, our flow of free thought. It's crazy that you just mentioned that, bro. And like I just like because I had not thought of that until I just mentioned it too.
Like people are like there's certain people that are encouraging entire societies to pursue more pleasurable feelings and to try to get rid of all negative feelings.
Um, yeah, that's exactly like true, honestly, and yeah, and it's great that I think more and more people are becoming aware of this now because but yeah, and because yeah, awareness is key. Pretty much I think is one thing that we can that we can some a theme a general like I guess principle I guess that you can sum up like in your podcast or self-awareness is key.
Of course. Yeah, bro, we got about like maybe like 30 seconds left. Any final thoughts?
Um, Final thoughts, bro. Like, I mean, well, on this topic, um, you know, I guess just what I just said. Self-awareness is key, bro. Like,
Vito was right. Self-awareness is key. And if you've made mistakes, that just means that you've been taking action, and that's okay. At least you're taking action. That's literally how you learn things. So no worries. It's okay.